The EQS and the Lucid Air are both targeting the luxury electric sedan driver. The EQS is the electric flagship of the well-known German manufacturer Mercedes, while the Air comes from a lesser-known electric startup Lucid. In this video, I'll perform a side-by-side comparison of the exterior, interior, tech, performance and pricing, and show you how both these cars are redefining luxury for the electric vehicle era. This is a comparison I've been looking forward to, comparing two luxury electric flagships. The electric era brings along all kinds of new challenges for manufacturers, foremost amongst them, maximizing range through aerodynamics. In addition to that challenge, both these cars are flagships for their respective brands and have the burden of setting a design language that will define the rest of the brand. Mercedes chose to go with a clean and simple one-bow principle, a single curve that runs from front to back and that becomes the defining line of the vehicle's profile. A unique challenge for electric cars is what to do with the area where there would normally be a grille. A number of manufacturers have taken the easy route of replacing the grille with a body-colored panel. But Mercedes creates a black panel with a beautiful, optional star pattern that is a development from one of its previous grilles. In the back, there's also the emblem, but supplemented by a neat helix light design, a design that's inspired by a light bulb and makes a reference to the electric drivetrain. With the sleek design, elegant proportions, and references to the electric drivetrain, the EQS becomes a beautiful and instantly identifiable flagship for the Mercedes' electric EQ range. And in the process, did Mercedes achieve its goal of aerodynamic efficiency? Absolutely! And in doing so, it set a new record with a drag coefficient of 0.20. As a company, Lucid is hyper-focused on efficiency, and this extends to the exterior design too. The smooth, slippery shape is inspired by aircraft design and achieves an impressive drag coefficient of 0.21. Lucid cleverly gets rid of the grille problem by tapering the hood and arcing the front diffuser so that the front is reduced to a very narrow band. Emphasizing that narrow band is the aluminum piece that runs across the front and is accentuated with the lighting element. This is also recalled in the back with this large single-piece tail light that runs end to end. I suspect that the band in the front and the continuous light in the rear may not appeal to some, but I think you have to see the Lucid Air as a modern version of the grand American luxury car. I can see hints of design themes from American cars that use a similar light design, but that theme has been transformed in the Lucid Air in a very contemporary way. And that contrasting satin finish aluminum roof is also a modern interpretation of the contrasting roof we've seen before in American cars. I can envision the elegant Lucid Air with its long, low, wide proportions gliding down the street with the same regal bearing as a historic American luxury car. Lucid is a brand new company and so does not have any design DNA to rely on, but by leaning on themes from American luxury traditions and interpreting them into a minimalist design made uniquely identifiable with a few key elements, the Air creates a beautiful, instantly recognizable look that can be used in other Lucid models. When people think of luxury, the first thing that usually comes to mind are sumptuous interiors. And the interior of the EQS is as sumptuous as any combustion Mercedes. Mercedes calls this progressive luxury. The interior is dominated by this incredible hyperscreen that spans 56 inches from end to end. Behind the continuous glass are three screens, an instrument screen, an OLED infotainment screen, and a screen for the passenger. The passenger can watch movies, manage the navigation, or control the entertainment. Luxurious seats are upholstered in Neotex or dynamic perforated leather. Trim finishes include a choice of open-pore walnut wood with aluminum inlays, a laser-cut backlit 3-star pattern, or a 3D relief with pearlescent pigments. And then for your other senses, there's a choice of artificial electric car sounds and a choice of scents. An ever-present feature throughout the cabin is the LED ambient lighting, be it behind the hyperscreen, arcing around the dashboard, or even in the seat piping. The interior of this car is a sensory delight and reminds me of Las Vegas-style opulent luxury. But while the EQS's interior may be reminiscent of Las Vegas, the Lucid Air's interior is reminiscent of a minimalist museum of modern art. The luxury is tactile, elegant, and understated. The interior themes are inspired by the light and colors in specific California locations at specific times. Lucid refers to their interiors as post-luxury, but I think they should call it California luxury. The expansive glass roof opens up the interior and brings in the outdoors. Sustainability is a central part of Lucid's interior design. Sustainable materials include Napa leather sourced from the world's only carbon-neutral producer, a range of sustainably harvested wood trims, and textiles including Alcantara and a wool blend textile made from sustainable alpaca and 100% recycled yarn. Careful thought has been given to the craftsmanship and the way these materials come together. And to pamper those who will be chauffeured around, a future option is the reclining executive seat. The dashboard is a floating 34-inch 5K display, and infotainment is through a retractable tablet that features a user-friendly interface. In contrast to so many contemporary steering wheels that add more and more buttons, Lucid's steering wheel is minimalist, featuring only a couple of rockers. And with its distinctive center shape, again, there's just a hint of an older American design in there. In a first, Lucid will use the 21-speaker Dolby Atmos sound system in the Air. I think Lucid strikes a really nice balance between the super minimalist Tesla interiors and the more opulent Mercedes interiors. Now, so much about luxury is also about making things easy and convenient. And to that end, Mercedes uses artificial intelligence in its hyperscreen. Instead of having you scroll through multiple screens, it will study the driver's habits, anticipate which apps or features the driver will need, and will have those available on the home screen. Artificial intelligence appears to be the next frontier in car technology, and it's interesting that Lucid doesn't use any, or at least none that they've told us about. And when it comes to other convenience features like assisted driving, both cars offer Level 2 self-driving technology. They are also available with LiDAR, facial recognition, cameras and sensors for use in Level 3 self-driving. Lucid hasn't shared much about the Air's Level 2 or Level 3 capabilities. On the other hand, Mercedes appears ahead of the curve and ready to deploy Level 3 early next year in very limited situations on motorways in Germany. Both come with a number of assistive technologies, but one important technology that Mercedes has, but Lucid doesn't, is head-up display. Given the helpful advancements with augmented reality, it's interesting that Lucid chose to exclude it. One important factor to consider in a luxury car is prestige, and this is where there's a huge gap between these two manufacturers. Mercedes-Benz has been in business for over 100 years and has established itself as a prestigious manufacturer of performance luxury cars. Owning one is often seen as a status symbol of having achieved success and wealth. Lucid, on the other hand, is a relatively unknown manufacturer with no cars on the road yet. It's positive to see that Lucid is taking its time to make sure the car is top quality before they sell it, but it will be a while before it can rival Mercedes' reputation. Perhaps, though, in the electric era, drivers are more open to considering a new startup manufacturer. Just look at the success of Tesla in cutting into luxury manufacturers' market share. And with that in mind, Lucid is making its presence felt by opening studios in high-end retail spaces. With its direct-to-customer sales model, you go shopping for Lucid much like you would for a high-end retail item. And if you do have a chance to visit a studio near you, I highly recommend it. I had a chance to do the virtual reality tour of the Air, and it was quite amazing. So that brings us to a comparison of the performance. At launch, Mercedes only offers one battery size, paired with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. A smaller battery is planned for the future. Lucid has a similar strategy, starting with a large battery now and following up with a smaller battery in the future. But only the smaller battery version will get rear-wheel drive, the rest get all-wheel drive. We do have EPA estimates for the Air's range, but for the EQS we only have a WLTP number. So I will estimate a number for the EQS's EPA range. That range gets close to the Air's smaller battery, but falls quite a bit short of the bigger battery's range. This is a testament to Lucid's hyper-focus on efficiency, with miniaturized motors and use of a higher voltage battery architecture. And it's this 900-volt architecture that also gives Lucid an advantage with faster charging times. Peak charging times of 300 kilowatts is 1.5 times that of the EQS's 200 kilowatt max power, which is based on a 400-volt architecture. Given that this is their flagship electric vehicle, it's very interesting and disappointing that Mercedes decided not to go with cutting-edge 800-volt architecture. What's nice though is that both are capable of bidirectional charging. When it comes to horsepower, the EQS's numbers are less than the corresponding Air's numbers, and so consequently the EQS is just a little slower on 0 to 60 times. We know a performance version of the EQS is coming, so we'll have to see how that stacks up. We don't have too much information on the drive dynamics of either of these cars, but one item to note is that only the EQS comes standard with an air suspension, an important feature in luxury cars. So that brings us to pricing. We have numbers for the Lucid in the States, but no official numbers for the EQS yet. In Germany, the combustion engine S-Class starts around €110,000, so based on that, I would estimate a range of €125,000 to €150,000 for the EQS. And based on patterns I'm seeing in Mercedes pricing for similar models between the States and Germany, I would estimate the US pricing for the EQS to be in the range of $120,000 to $140,000. That broad brush pricing number puts it in very much the same league as the Lucid. And as we have more pricing detail, we'll be able to do a finer comparison. The Lucid Air Dream Edition and the EQS are both expected to be available later this year, and they are both excellent additions to the luxury EV sedan segment. So, which one would you buy, the Lucid Air or the EQS? Let me know in the comments below. Please give the video a like, share your comments below, and subscribe to the Driver Download.